Hello guys and welcome back to another Windows 10 technical preview video. Now today we're going to be taking a look at all of the new features that have been introduced in Windows 10 build 9926. Now this build was just announced a few days ago at the Microsoft press conference, and basically they introduced a lot of new stuff in this build. A lot of things have changed since build 9901, and if you remember back in December when that build originally leaked, I did a video showcasing all of the new features in that build. And basically what I want to do today is show all the things that have changed since that build and sort of what things have been added, as there have been a lot of new things in this build as well. So the first thing, and probably one of the most major things, is the new start menu. And if we just go down here and just open up the new Windows start menu, you'll see that it looks completely different, way different from any other Windows 10 build. And I think it actually looks pretty nice. You are going to be able to supposedly resize this menu in later versions, but that's not available yet. I think that this menu does a pretty good job at kind of mixing between your modern UI apps on the right here and all of your Windows Classic apps on the left. And you can supposedly you're able to pin apps up here, and all of your most used applications will build up in here over time as you use them. And we can also go down here to this all apps view and get sort of a view, sort of like if you go in to Windows 8's all app view. It's kind of that view, but kind of in a one column thing. Like, it's not stretched out, but it sort of takes all of your apps and alphabetizes them, which I think looks pretty nice. It might be a little bit hard to like find an app in here, like if you were used to the way that the older start menu was, but you know, of course, this is still in the technical preview phase, so this could change in the future as Microsoft continues to get feedback, and that could be said with anything that you're going to see in this video. We also still have this little power button, which kind of gives you some nice power options. You can choose to sleep, shut down, or to restart your PC if you wanted to. And we also have this button, which actually will expand the start menu into a sort of Windows 8 style start menu. Like, it kind of makes the whole thing full screen. And yeah, so if you wanted to make your start menu look like this, you could definitely do that as well. But I think for most desktop users, this is probably going to be the most optimal setting. But if you were on a tablet, then this would probably be way easier for you. But so I'm just gonna set it back to this, as I kind of, you know, like it to look like this, obviously, because we're here on a desktop. So yeah, that's basically all of the major things in the new Windows start menu. They've also made a few improvements to Cortana, which is the new digital assistant that's been added to Windows 10. Now, if you've been using Windows Phone 8.1, you'll know that Cortana has been in that, I think, for like a year now. But it came to Windows 10. We first saw it in build 9901, and it was kind of buggy in that build. I was able to, in that earlier video, I was able to get it to do a few things, but it still kind of crashed a lot, and it didn't really recognize what I said sometimes. But now it seems to be working. It seems to kind of work more like the Windows Phone. But there are still a few bugs that need to be fixed. One of them is the bug is still present when you actually click to open Cortana. It still lags for a bit or so, and then it'll finally open up. For some reason, it does that. I don't really know why, but it just decides to do that for some reason, or you know, that's just a bug that they have to fix. You can see that this here looks a little bit different. This search box here looks a little bit different than it did before. You can of course change that if you want to the search icon, which I actually kind of prefer it to look this way. And they've also changed this icon to the Cortana icon instead of that magnifying glass that we saw before. So, and that also does that weird thing. I think it's something with when it's trying to like open the UI, it's like doing something weird where it like can't render it properly or something. And I'm not sure if it's just me having this problem or if other people have had this problem, but yeah, so at least for me, I'm still having this problem. Maybe it's because I'm running it in a virtual machine. I'm not really sure, but you can see that now it actually does call you by your name. So I've told it that my name is Michael, which it will ask you that when you first sign into Cortana, and it didn't do that before. So you see now it'll say, is there something that I can do for you, Michael? And then it'll also give you what's called your daily routine, which is a list of sort of glanceable information of like some news info and your web history, which are some searches that I tried to do, but as you can see, they didn't really get picked up correctly. And you can also change all this. Like if we go up here, you can actually go into the settings and you can change a lot of these options around as well. So if you don't want Cortana to call you by your name, you can turn this off. You can also change your name here as well. And you can also choose it, and this is actually a very interesting feature. You can tell it to detect tracking info, which I thought was kind of interesting. So like it'll, I guess, track your packages for you if it finds like some tracking information, which I thought was very interesting. And this option right here is also new. It says let Cortana respond when you say hey Cortana. Basically, when you say that, it's going to make Cortana start listening even when you don't have Cortana open. So I can have be on the desktop like this and then say, hey Cortana. And as you see, it sometimes doesn't always work. So let me try that again. Hey Cortana. Okay, sometimes it doesn't always work. I don't get it. So yeah, that's again one of the bugs that I'm talking about. It doesn't always work, but when it does, it works great. So I can say like, what's the weather today in Redmond, Washington?
The forecast in Redmond shows fog with a high of 60 and a low of 44.
So you see, it works like a little bit faster than it did in build 9901, and it will also give voice feedback, which it did sometimes before in those earlier builds, but now it does it all the time. So we can also say, do a Google search for YouTube. And then it will go out and do a Google search for that. And if you don't, I think it... Okay, actually it's just going to do a Bing search for do a Google search for YouTube, which is kind of interesting there. But yeah, so basically if you tell it something that it doesn't recognize, it just will open up Internet Explorer and do a Bing search for the phrase that you told it. And in this case, it was do a Google search for YouTube, and for some reason there's a question mark at the end, and I don't know why. So you can see all of Bing's results for that. It also did that in the previous build as well. But for some reason, that interesting hot word feature doesn't always work. I don't know why. I guess that's something they still have to work on. So we'll just go back in here. Under your notebook, I believe... This is where you can change what will appear on that glanceable information screen. You can change all that here, so you can see we have this is your daily routine, and this is what would show up here. And so like let's say you don't want weather to be turned on, you can go in here and then you can turn this off, and then you hit save, and now weather won't show up on that top screen. We can also go into reminders, and that Remind Me application that was in build 9901, I don't believe is in this build anymore. So, and it actually synced. It's okay. This is very cool. It actually synced the old reminder that I told it to make in my older 9901 video, and it actually brought it into here, which I just think is kind of funny. So you can see, it says make a video on 12/17/2014 at 10 o'clock a.m. So that's one of the benefits of having your Microsoft account synced with Windows 10, is that it will keep everything in sync, even something from an earlier Windows build. I didn't even know it was going to do that. That's very cool. So yeah, that older app called Remind Me is not in here anymore. And it's all going to be contained inside of the same Cortana user interface, which I think is a lot better than having a whole separate application. And we can also go into Places, and in here, I guess you can add your favorite places or something. So let's say like Washington, if I can type today. We can like search for Washington DC, and we can say yeah, sure, get directions. And that's going to open up the Maps app. And yeah, this is also a new app in Windows 10, but it doesn't work for me. It keeps on crashing, so I don't think we're going to be able to take a look at that, because for some reason, like, it'll open, but it doesn't show it down here in the taskbar. I'm not sure if that's a bug that I'm only having, or if other people are having it also. So one more notable thing about Cortana that I probably should mention is that you can do system-wide searches with it. And you can do this from either opening up the Cortana interface itself or from the Windows Start menu. And you can see it kind of like creates this like bug here, like whenever you open it up, it like will sometimes bring the interface on top of the actual Start menu. But if you remember, in all of the earlier Windows Technical Preview builds, the older version of the Windows 10 Start menu had like a built-in search box. And that's basically what this is, except this uses Cortana to search instead of using the Start menu. So if I wanted to search for something like Twitter here, you can see that it'll fade out, and then it will bring up the Cortana interface and then show you all of your search results there. And I think this looks pretty nice, as it also will collect a bunch of different results, as it uses the Cortana, I guess, engine instead of using that older Start menu thing, and that would only search in the Windows Start menu and not give you all of these different results. So you see that I did a search for Twitter, and it found the Twitter Modern application and an app from the store called Live Tile for Twitter, and it found all of these different web results, which I guess are like popular searches to do with Twitter. And you can also search My Stuff, which would search locally on this computer, or search the web if you didn't find what you wanted here. And there's also this, which I guess is going, yeah, this is going to give feedback if you wanted to. So, and again, since it is Cortana, you have this same little menu up here. So that's basically what that is. That's one of that's some of the stuff they've added to Cortana to give it some more functionality. Alright, and one more user interface change they have made is the Action Center. And the Action Center, I think this is called the Action Center, but I'm not sure. And what this basically is a sort of a mix between the older Windows 8 settings charm and something like a notification center from like a phone interface, or from like Mac OS 10 kind of, as it kind of will show you your system-wide notifications in here. And on the bottom here you have some cool looking settings toggles, which at the moment all they do is, if you were to click on I think any of these or most of these, it will just bring up their specified setting in the Modern UI Settings app, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, as this has changed as well. So as you see, I just clicked on the display settings toggle, and it just brought up the customize your display settings in the Modern UI Settings app here. So I'm just going to close out of that for the moment. I believe all of these do that. Yeah, see, the same thing with location. All settings obviously just brings up the settings app. Actually, we'll just talk about this app right now. This is the new settings app. In build 9901, there was a version of this app. It looked a little bit different. So this is sort of like the, I guess, final version. You know, they might make changes to this before Windows 10 is officially released. But this is how that it kind of looks, and I think it looks pretty nice. It looks a lot better, in my opinion, than the current Windows control panel, as this is kind of to get rid of all of that confusion. There's a lot of confusion in Windows 8, as there were two different control panels. There was the one on the desktop, and there was the modern UI control panel, which was always full screen. And I think this is to kind of provide one interface. As I mentioned in build 9901, I think they're going to be slowly going to phase out the older control panel. They've actually made it so you can't get Windows updates from the classic control panel in this build at all. If you remember in build 9901, if we went into the control panel, there was the Windows Update tab, and it would like basically tell you that you're not going to be able to get updates from here anymore. Well, now there's not even a Windows Update anything in this control panel whatsoever. If you search for Windows Update, there's absolutely nothing to do with getting updates. It's all controlled in here now. So yeah, that's basically what this is. It's, you know, kind of a modern version of this older control panel, and I think it looks really nice. As I've said, it kind of has all of your settings in here, and since you can run it in a window now instead of having it full screen all the time, I think it'll make a great desktop only control panel. So if they do decide to, you know, completely take this out, which they might do, they might not, but if they do, then I think this would be a pretty good replacement for it. So, but yeah, that's basically the new settings. There's not really that much to say about that. Again, I kind of went more in depth in build 9901, so if you wanted to check out that video, you can definitely do that. But back to the Action Center, there is this button right here that I kind of want to talk about for a minute. This button that says Tablet Mode, and way back in October 2014, when Microsoft first announced Windows 10, they talked about a feature called Continuum. And basically what it allowed you to do was, if you were using a 2-in-1 device, it would let you intelligently switch between the desktop mode and the tablet mode. And it is now working in this build. So I'm going to be giving you a demo of that here. So I'm just going to open up a few different windows here. We'll open up the File Explorer here. Alright, so you can see that we have a few apps open here. And basically, how you can enter tablet mode without actually having a tablet is you can go in to the Action Center, and I think that's what this is called, I'm not sure, and you can basically click on this button and it will instantly change you over to the tablet mode, and it would do the same thing automatically if you're using a 2-in-1 device and if you took off your keyboard accessory. So like if you're using a Microsoft Surface and you took off the Surface type cover, it would actually ask you, do you want to enter tablet mode, and you press yes, and then it would basically do this for you. So now you're in tablet mode, and you see it makes all of the apps full screen. So again, optimized for using a tablet. You still have the bottom taskbar displayed, so if you wanted to get between these apps, you can still do that. They're all made full screen though. And what you can also do is click on the Start button, and it would actually bring up the full big version of the Start menu, because you've entered tablet mode. So they obviously don't want to bring up that like small little windowed version. And now we're back in the desktop mode, and you can see that it'll actually bring the windows in the exact same places that they were, the exact same position, which is also pretty cool. And so, you know, if you wanted your windows laid out like a certain way, and you entered tablet mode to like kind of draw something with like a stylus or something, and then you came out of tablet mode, all your windows would be exactly the same. So that's kind of very useful, and I kind of like that feature. So if I were to ever get like a 2-in-1 Windows device, I would probably use that feature a lot. So we'll just close out of all these apps. There is also one more little thing they've added to the Action Center, and that is this Connect button right here. And this actually makes it easier to find audio devices. So you see here, it's found my iPhone up here, and you can basically connect to Bluetooth and Miracast devices. We also have 2 new apps. We have a Photos app and a Maps app. I tried to open up the Maps app earlier, if you remember, but it didn't work, and I'm not really sure why it's not working, but the Photos app does work. So I can just go in here. I can use Cortana to search for photos, and you can see we have it right here. This is it, the Photos modern application, and it's basically going, I think this was in build 9901, and it was kind of, I didn't really get to demo it because I think there were a lot of things that didn't work properly, but albums and folders, they both say coming soon. We have this thing that says send feedback. It just brings up the Windows feedback application. We have these feedback games, which are also in 9901, and settings, which you can choose all of your different settings as well, and you can also choose where it will find your pictures. As you see, by default it is in the pictures library, and we'll just go back into here, and I think this will so this little thing up here will kind of close away the sidebar. So you see we have this photo in here. We can just open that, and it will give us a nice full screen preview of it. It will give us the day that it was taken, which this is just a screenshot, so it's not like the actual day that the photo was taken. This right here is the share panel, so if we click on that, it'll bring up all of the different share settings, and we can choose to share it either by email or by Twitter, or by, I guess, any of your other third-party apps that can support sharing. If you had more than one picture, you could do a slideshow. That's what this button does. At least I think. I'm just guessing because I can see that there's like a little play icon in there. This is the auto enhance button, which sometimes makes the picture look worse than it really is. So you can see here. You can be the judge of that if it looks better the first or the second time. We have, this is going to bring up the photo editor, and this you can actually do a bunch of different things to all your photos to make them look a lot better. You can apply filters if you wanted to. So like, say like you wanted it to look kind of like this, with like a sort of mask around it, kind of, or like if you want to make it grayscale, or if you wanted to kind of change the colors around. You can change the light. You can change all of the different highlights and the contrast and the shadows. It's gives you a lot of different options. You can also change the tint and the saturation and the temperature and everything. You can see, like, if I start doing this, it'll kind of make the picture look a little bit different. Do that and like go into saturation and do that. It makes it look like completely grayscale. You make it look that. We go in to temperature and like make it really warm if you wanted to, or make it really cold. So that's kind of what that does. Under effects, we can choose this, and we can add that effect. It looks really cool. Oh, it's kind of blurring out. Yeah, there's just, you can have like a lot of fun with this application. You can do a lot of stuff, and you can select the focus, which this is actually kind of cool. You can choose where you want to focus. So like, say like you want to focus like just down here, you can do that, and now it'll kind of blur out the rest of the picture. So yeah, a lot of interesting things that they've added. Actually, we can hit save. I think this is save a copy, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, it's just gonna update the original photo. That's not what I wanted to do, but whatever. I think that actually looks pretty nice. So, and this right here, I think this is the rotate button. Obviously, you can see there, like if you want it to be backwards, or if you took the picture the wrong way, you can change which direction it faces. This right here will obviously delete the photo if you wanted to, and in here you can choose to print the photo. You can actually set it as your lock screen, which, as you can see there, it kind of takes a while. I don't know why that is. We'll set it as the lock screen, and you can also view the file info, which is kind of cool. So you can see all of the different properties of the file. And you can also use your mouse wheel, or if I'm guessing if you were on a tablet you could swipe up and down to kind of, go from the actual photo, and then you could go down to the file properties like that. So I think that looks pretty cool. So we can go out of this. So that's basically the new Photos app. There is also the beta version of the Windows Store, which I probably also should kind of briefly touch on this. This is basically a mouse and keyboard friendly version of the Windows Store. If you've used Windows 8, you'll know that the store is not really optimized for a mouse and a keyboard. It's mainly optimized for touch, and that's obviously because you're not really going to be using the store if you're on a desktop computer. But now, since you can run all these modern UI apps in a window, you might want to be using the store more if you're on a desktop. So they've made it. They've made the store a lot more friendly to the mouse and the keyboard, but at the same time, it's also still very easy to use if you were using a touchscreen device. I should probably also show you how the app windows resize depending on the size of the window. So we'll go like, this is how it would look if, see, this is how the app would look if you were on like a phone. And kind of Microsoft's big idea here is to make it so that all of its developers can write one app, and it'll run on every single different device. It'll run on your phone, your tablet, your PC, and even the Xbox One. So you can see here that this app is written to run like this is how it would look if it's on a phone. This is how it would look if it's on like a tablet, and on a PC it would look like this. So it's like basically three different interfaces, but it's the same app, it's the same code, but it's on different devices. And that's kind of a pretty interesting approach they have, and it's really going to be interesting to see how that goes. So we're just going to close out of the Windows Store. Again, that's the beta version. They have also made a few updates to the Xbox app, and most of the things are the same as they were in 99.01, but they have added the ability to send messages through Xbox Live. That is apparently working now. And they have also announced, probably the biggest thing they've announced is game streaming. You're going to be able to stream games from an Xbox One console to a Windows 10 PC. And that is not working in this build. It is coming later this year, probably around the time that Windows 10 officially rolls out. So yeah, that's basically all of the big major changes. There is also a few little things. One of those things is actually in the File Explorer. They've kind of changed the whole UI of this. They've kind of changed all of the folders around to look a little bit different. But if we go into the View menu here and we go into Options, you can actually change to where the File Explorer opens to. So it can either open to the Quick Access, which I believe used to be called Libraries, or this PC. So if you don't want it opening up to here, you can actually just make it open up to this PC, which was formerly called My Computer. And I think that is pretty nice, because now you can get, I think this was the way it used to be back in like Windows XP, or like even Windows Vista. I think they changed it in like Windows 7. Yeah, that is new. They've also made all of the window titles, they're now centered back to the left, which I thought was kind of interesting, as in Windows 8 one of the big things was centering the window titles. Now they're being centered back to the left, and I don't know why that is. I guess it's just something they decided to do. However, if you make the window full screen, apparently it does center it, so that's kind of interesting. They've also changed these buttons here, the close, maximize, and the minimize buttons. They look a little bit different, and I think they actually look kind of nice compared to the ones that are in Windows 8. And they're probably a little bit bigger to make it easier, so like if you were on a tablet and you were using the desktop interface and you wanted to press these buttons, they probably made it that way so you can do that. And one of the other smaller things I've noticed is in WinVer here, it actually says Microsoft Windows version 10.0, which before, for whatever reason, let me just show you here in Windows 8. For some reason, when Windows 7 came out, they decided to not change the actual NT version to 7. They kept it at like 6.1 or something. So Windows 8 was 6.2, Windows 8.1 was 6.3, as you can see here. And that was, I guess, kind of really confusing to some people, because like, well, if I have Windows 8, why does it say version 6.3? And so they finally made it. They've just jumped the gun from 6.3 to 10.0. And I think that's just going to make it a lot easier for people that, you know, when they see that line of text, they'll know that there's like going to be no confusion between, oh, there's a different version number for the NT version than for the Windows version, like there's been for pretty much every other version of Windows before Windows 10. So I think they've done this to kind of clear all that up for some people. And I think that is basically everything. You know, I just kind of wanted to make this video to just kind of show you guys everything that Microsoft has brought into this new build 9926. I know that these videos kind of go on a little bit longer than usual, and you know that's just because I just want to make sure that I get every little feature in there for you guys. But if you guys enjoyed this video, and if you would like to see me do this more, definitely be sure to let me know down in the comments below, and also be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video's content. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching and all of your amazing support, and I will see you, as always, in the next video.